All right, welcome to the Hank Haney Podcast, brought to you by HaneyUniversity.com and the Hank Haney Golf Studio. Those are two of my websites where you can go and find out information about golf lessons from me, online golf lessons, and my new golf studio in Deerfield, Illinois, which is now open for business, which is nice to be able to say. Hope everybody enjoyed the Masters. This is my long-awaited Masters recap. I've been thinking about this for a while. What a tournament. As I have said many times, there is no tournament like the Masters. And it did not disappoint this year, just like it really hardly ever disappoints. I don't know if it ever disappoints. It started off before the Masters with Gary Player, one of the greatest golfers ever, one of only 6 to complete the career Grand Slam until Rory McIlroy did it. Gary Player said, this is laughable. He said the Masters was the 4th best major. Now, I don't know what he could have been thinking. Now, I think he's got something again, even though he's the honorary starter with Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson. I think he's got something against the Masters. I think I don't know what it is. I think it has to do with something that happened with his son or whatever. But come on, please. Everybody knows the Masters is the greatest major. I think the golf course is fantastic. There's always a great leaderboard. And why is there always a great leaderboard? Because the Masters Augusta National is the best tournament golf course in the world, period. And why do I say that? Because it always has a great leaderboard. And it did again this year. So number one, Rory McIlroy has now won the Masters. And when he got done, what did he say? He said, this won't go over well in my home country, but this is the greatest tournament in the world. And he was speaking of the Masters. And now he has won the greatest tournament in the world. Second greatest tournament in the world is the Open Championship. And then you can debate about 3 and 4, U.S. Open or PGA. Period. Hank Haney's opinion, but I would say most people's opinion. And when you coached on tour like I did for 35 years, I have to tell you that that is the prevalent opinion of most players, almost all players who play the game of golf for a living. Now, some may argue the U.S. Open because they're American, but those two, the Masters and the Open Championship, 1 and 2. Now, winning any major is incredible. And when you win all 4 in your lifetime, like Rory McIlroy just completed, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I don't know where it puts him on the list. People are ranking him between, 7 and 10 or 7 and 12 all-time great players. You got Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan. That's kind of the consensus top 3. But Rory McIlroy is right up there when you look at the fact that, there's not many players that have completed the career Grand Slam, and now he's the latest to do it. It definitely elevates him to elite company. And the emotion really was shining through after he made that putt. Somehow he got that thing in the playoff hole. I've never seen anybody come back from that mental disaster, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, and come back and win. Like in any sport. I mean, it's the greatest mental comeback I have ever seen in sports for all my years watching. And I've been watching sports since I was a little kid. I'm 69 years old, been watching forever, never seen anything like it. Absolutely incredible. Just absolutely incredible. When he made the turn, I thought this is over. When he got it over the water on 12, I thought this is over. When he hit it off the tee on 13 and put it in the fairway, I thought this is over. When he laid up, I still thought this was over. But let's go back to that shot on 13 that he hit it in the water. And remember what I always say. I always say the same thing. Golf tournaments are determined by penalty shots, 2 chips, and 3 putts. No one has ever won the Masters with 4 double bogeys. And how do you take double bogeys? Penalty shots, 2 chips, and 3 putts. You hit a ball in the water, you hit a ball out of bounds, got to hit again, 2-shot penalty, double bogey. Miss a green, knock it on, 3-putt, double bogey. Miss a green, don't get it on, get the next one on, 2-putt, double bogey. Penalty shots, 2 chips, and 3 putts. I remember when I was coaching Tiger Woods, Steve Williams used to always say before every major, if we don't make a double this week, we'll be right there to win the tournament. Rory McIlroy made 4 double bogeys and won the tournament. It's mind-boggling. That's how much better he was than everybody else. To be able to piss that amount of strokes away and still win is absolutely incredible. So he made he made those doubles. And I mean the first one was on the first hole. In his own words, very nervous starting off, understandably so. Anybody that says they're not nervous is probably not telling the truth. You would expect him to be nervous. I watched Tiger double the first hole at Torrey Pines. I think he doubled it 3 times, and when he won that tournament with the broken leg and the torn ACL. So it happens, and he said that kind of calmed him down. That does happen. But let me talk about the double at 13. So he lays it up, and it's funny when you hear people talk about this. All this. Oh, he should just lay it up, or oh, he's just hit an iron off the tee. Like you automatically, if you hit an iron off the tee, it goes in the fairway, or automatically when you lay it up, it goes on the green. 13th hole is not an easy hole if you lay up. You got an elevated green, you got a downhill lie on the pitch shot. That's what you got. Downhill, side hill lie, elevated green. Not the easiest shot. Now, one of the things that makes it difficult is when you look at and I've been there many, many times, the grass on TV at Augusta National looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like AstroTurf, but it's not. What it is it's winter rye that they plant to make the golf course look just immaculately beautiful. But underneath that ryegrass, oftentimes is not much grass. That's why they're getting mud balls in the fairways. Jordan Spieth talked about the mud balls. They don't like them talking about mud balls. But the reason you get mud balls is because your ball hits in the fairway, and there's not great turf underneath that ryegrass. Ryegrass tends to be very wet, and it hits and it picks up a chunk of mud. So there's a lot of places on that golf course where you've got good looking lies on TV, but not great lies when you get up there to play the shot. And in particular, there are holes where the Bermuda grass was thin before they overseeded. Now, I'm sure they do an extensive amount of sodding after every year if the grass doesn't come back good in transition with the Bermuda grass. But when you look down there at 12, the par 3, and 13, the par 5, there's a lot of shade down there in those holes. So the grass is typically going to be thin underneath the ryegrass. And the point is it's easy to chunk one. It's easy to chunk. I remember back in the day when Curtis Strange had the tournament won. think he opened up, can't remember what year it was. He opened up with a 79 or 80 in the first round, which was crazy. And he fought his way back all the way into the tournament, and he had a chance to win the tournament with 6 holes to go. He hit it in the water on 13 with his second shot. And of course, everybody said he should have just laid up. He should have just laid up. He should have just laid up. And I asked Curtis about that. And he told me, he said, Hank, he said, I wasn't going to lay up no matter what. I said, why not? And he goes, because in the practice round, I practiced the pitch shot that you have after laying up. And I chunked 2 in a row into the creek. Now, this is in the practice round with no pressure. You're just out there practicing. He said, I chunked 2 in a row into the creek. He said, that shot is a lot harder than people think. But yet everybody thinks just lay up, and then automatically your ball goes on the green on your next shot. Well, it didn't automatically go on the green. It went in the green. I wondered about that layup. I have to admit, if it was me, and I was watching and cheering for Rory, or if I was coaching and I was cheering for Rory, I would be like, I'd love to get that ball over that creek. Just get it over the creek anywhere. Just get it in the back bunker and then play out anywhere that you could keep the ball on the green and 2-putt. And if you don't, you 3-putt and you make a bogey, but you just have to avoid the penalty shot. So when he laid up, I thought, I don't know about this. I mean, Rory McIlroy has incredible power. He hits the ball straight up in the air. And what was his best shot he had on that Sunday? His best shot was a high hook. He hit the high hook on the 5th hole to get out of trouble. He hit the high hook on the 7th hole to get out of trouble. He hit the high hook on 15 to hit an incredible shot into the green there. So he clearly had that shot. I mean, that was his best shot on Sunday at the Masters. His best shot was a high hook. And that's a shot that if you hit a high hook onto 13 and he wasn't having any trouble hitting that shot, what's the worst thing could happen is it might hit on the back and go over the green. So what? You at least you're out there where you can putt the next one or you can chip the next one and you got a safer play. But lay it up from a reasonable yardage for him, and now all of a sudden you got to hit that pitch shot over the creek that everybody thinks is just, how could he do that? How could he hit it in the water? Well, I mean, that's not as easy a shot as it looks like. And clearly it wasn't, and he hit it in. So that was my first time. When that happened, I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm watching this. And I thought, and all of a sudden, and I'm not like a huge Rory McIlroy fan. I like his game. I like watching him play. I'm not a huge Rory McIlroy fan. But I thought I became a huge Rory McIlroy fan when he hit that ball in the water, because I was like, oh my God, this poor guy, if he loses this tournament, I mean, I just don't know how he would have ever come. I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, I don't want to see anybody face what he's going to face mentally if he doesn't win this tournament. So I was cheering so hard for him, as I'm sure a lot of people were. I was cheering so hard for him after that shot that he hits on 13 and knocks in the creek. But he came back. He needed to hit the good drive on 15. He put it behind the trees, and that was an incredible shot he hit. Now, was it the most incredible shot? It would have been more incredible to me if he hadn't already hit it twice that day. He hit it on 5, as I said, and he hit it on 7, as I said. So I knew he had that shot. I mean, that is his bread and butter shot. High, super high, straight up in the air, draw, and he flat has that shot. But to pull it off in that situation is absolutely, incredible. I mean, it's just a great shot. And by the way, he pretty much had that it's shot into it's the same shot he hit into 17 as well. So he hit it 4 times in that round and hit it just tremendous every single time. You know, when you got a shot and you know that shot's going for you, you got to keep playing that shot. You got to keep playing that shot. That's what I'm thinking. And when he got on 18, he tried to play a just a perfect shot, not a high draw, not a kind of drawed in trick shot kind of shot, but just a perfect shot. And I think the lie maybe a little bit got him, and the ball scored a little right. And next thing you know, he's in the bunker. And then people are texting me and they're asking me, Hank, is he, how's he going to do on this bunker shot? And I said, he's going to get this up and in, because this is about as easy a bunker shot as you could have. You could fly it to the hole and stop it, or you could hit behind it, like people are prone to do in a bunker. You could hit behind it and you play what's called a chunk and run, and it'll hit out short and it'll roll up to the hole. So either way, I thought, okay, there's no way he's not going to get this pretty darn close, and he did. He got it pretty close. I think it was 4 or 5 feet. The putter, not good, not good. And I was watching those putts, and I'm thinking, "Ooh, man, this is he's really improved as a putter. He's gotten a lot better, but it looked a little shaky. I got to admit, it looked a little shaky. And, it looked a little shaky. Call it whatever you want. Like, people don't like to say the word. It looked a little shaky. It looked a little shaky there on 15. Looked a little shaky there on 18. It looked a little shaky. Okay, and he yeah, I couldn't believe he couldn't wiggle that one in, because that's the putt you kind of want, little right to left, but that thing never had a chance, never even had a chance. So then he goes to the next, he goes to the next hole, the playoff hole. All the pressure in the world, pumps that drive right down the fairway. That was a heck of a shot. I mean, and I know is a great driver. Made me wonder, why didn't he hit driver off 13? Hit that drive off 13, and now he's coming in there with an 8 or 9 iron if he hits that driver off 13. I'm not sure why he didn't do that. 13 made sense with the driver to me. Hit it, if you pull it a little bit. Let's say you pull it. It might get by the trouble on the left, might get by the creek a little bit if you pull it, if you hit it long enough. If you blast it right in the trees, you lay it up. If you hit it in a creek, you're in the creek in one, and what shot are you going to have now? You're going to have a high hook onto the green, and you can still make par. So I didn't get that play either. I didn't get the play on 13. But then he went, then after laying up, he goes back, and then after hitting out a left drive on 15, he comes back on 18 and hits the 2 great drives, and then a great drive in the playoff hole. I mean, that's his club. The driver is his club. Let it go. So he let it go, and that was a heck of a shot he hits in there off the tee, and it's a heck of a shot he hit in there on the second shot. He had a flatter lie, so it wasn't going to squirt to the right. But once again, kind of the same swing, very similar swing to 5, to 7, to 13, to 15, or to 15, kind of to 17, kind of the same swing. And he did it on 18 in the playoff and stuck it in there. And then, man, he wiggled that thing in, and he made history. And it was that was cool to see. You gotta think that that was one of the best Masters ever for drama. Maybe not the best Masters ever for playing. I mean, somebody just won the Masters with 4 double bogeys, but DeChambeau had his own problems. And Patrick Reed, when you think back, he could have been in a playoff if he makes the 3-footer on 13, but he ends up missing that and missing the next one. I mean, that would have been playoff for him. Scheffler, a little too late. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys kicking themselves. I don't think Justin Rose is kicking himself, because he came from nowhere on Sunday. but a few other guys, maybe Scheffler and he probably thinking, and Bryson DeChambeau probably thinking that, what, that one kind of got away. DeChambeau didn't have anything, pretty much all day, uh, nothing but a hook, and I heard him on the mic one time saying, I can't hold it off. He's talking about holding off the hook through the shot. I'm trying to, I just can't hold it off. That's what he said. I think he just was mumbling to his caddy. And I thought to myself, I'm like, Bud, you're 100 yards across the line at the top of your swing. Your club's so far pointed across the line, you're not going to hold it off from there. That club's going to whip shot on you every single time. I can't believe he doesn't fix that. As smart as that guy is, I can't believe he doesn't fix that. Love to watch him play. My favorite player to watch, Bryson DeChambeau. Love his attitude. Love how he interacts with the fans. Love how much he loves to play. Love how hard he works. Didn't have it though. I could see that. Well, he was out there practicing till past dark, waiting for the cavalry to come in, and it never showed up on Saturday night. Love to watch him, cheering for him, but when Rory was self-destructing, I knew DeChambeau didn't have it. He had too many water balls himself. Penalty shots, 2 chips and 3 putts. That's the key. And I switched to cheering for Rory because I knew it was good for golf, and I didn't want to see a guy go through what he was going to go through. So you know what? I thought it was a great Masters, not the best golf, but maybe the best drama ever. And I loved the fact that there's another player who's completed the career Grand Slam, and that is really, really cool, and that is really, really, really hard to do. Think about it. Think about how many people in our lifetime, or in my lifetime, you're gonna see do that. Spieth, has a chance at the PGA, but there isn't a lot of signs that's going to happen. How many other players could do it? Bryson DeChambeau's only won, the U.S. Opens. He's got forever to go to get that done. Koepka, he'd have to get a Masters, and he'd have to get a British. So, there's not many guys are going to even have that opportunity. Scheffler's got the Masters, but that's all he's got. He got a long way to go. Schauffele, he's got a couple. Picked him up last year, so he's halfway there. But I'd give him half a chance for sure. And I'd give those other guys I mentioned, a chance too. But that is how rare it is for us to be able to see something like that. And Rory has cemented himself as one of the greatest players ever. I don't know where he is. Like I said, top 7, top 10, whatever. But it's a short list, that's for sure. And it was pretty cool to see. Hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. I will talk to you soon on the Hank Haney Podcast. Remember to go to my website, Hank Haney Golf Studio, or the HaneyUniversity.com, and you can find out all the information you need to know about getting better at golf. We will talk to you soon on the Hank Haney Podcast.